Janet and Kong were both caught in the quantum domain together before. He has a boat that can venture to every part of the multiverse. Janet and he were fixing it. He needed to help her fix time so she could get her time back with Trust. Janet found he was underhanded by means of a brain association he has with his boat. Subsequent to going up against him and affirming his temperament, she obliterated the hardware that made his boat work and caught them both more profound in the quantum domain. Kong has been the hero from that point onward. He's been searching for Janet for vengeance. Kong tells Scott he has beaten the Vindicators a few times. Kong inquires as to whether he's the one with the sledge, and Scott pokes a fun at individuals mistaking him for Thor constantly. He maintains that Scott should assist him with escaping the quantum domain and says they ought to cooperate. Kong professes to be the one in particular who can stop what's coming. At the point when Scott asks what that is, Kong basically says me. Kong lets Janet know that she provided him with a ton of time to plot his vengeance by leaving him abandoned in the quantum domain. He tells her that when he leaves, the principal universe he'll guarantee will be hers. Kong uncovers he's assembled a domain and says he'll take it with him to vanquish every one of the universes. Scott will apparently get into the quantum nexus, where he'll meet variations of himself from the multiverse. Counting Langs who aren't superheroes. He will work with those subterranean insect man variations against MODOK. Okay. The last fight is immense and will look like the fight in Aquaman somewhat. We see Monster Cassie battling MODOK. She attempts to convince him to switch sides. Monster Scott and Goliath Cassie race to one another for an embrace. He kids about it, seeming like he's embracing Godzilla. Kong has a stalemate with Scott, Trust, and Cassie. Hank flies in with an army of heavily clad insects and they assault Kong. He figures out how to hold them off with his powers. MODOK additionally makes an appearance to help. Kong lethally harms MODOK. The family goes to MODOK's side as he bites the dust. He rubs his little hand on Scott's cheek. There's a close-to-home second where MODOK says Cassie was correct about him and that he basically passed on a justice fighter. Scott says he worked effectively and concurs. Kong endure the battle and stops Scott similarly as they are returning to their universe. Janet, Hank, Cassie, and Trust escape. Kong thoroughly demolishes Scott. Trust returns for him. They nearly figure out how to trap Kong in the quantum domain, yet he escapes and traps Scott and Trust inside. That is clearly the way in which the film closes. Scott and Trust will be abandoned, while Cassie will most likely be attempting to get them back. However, at that point she'll find a strange detail that will make her heave not long before the screen slices to dark.